ready to get deployed.
Productivity, how soon he will be productive.
Yeah, yes, because that's actually money on the table which is going. They're billable resources. You would like to get them billable as early as possible. So what is it that the institution is doing to ensure that they're given the right kind of training after they've got selected by an organization? We're meeting so many of us from different organizations. They know what is it that we'd like to do in terms of training them on. What's the current flavor? What's the current flavor of technology today? Is that getting tweaked into their academics? Is that getting imparted to them? Because that's what is going to make them ready to deploy. And that's what is also going to give you higher numbers on your campus when anybody visits you on your campus.
Let me simplify this, okay? Depending on the roles, if I'm Sharada, I have to see where I'm going to provide this manpower. We have different roles. We have product engineers. In there are developers and product management. Then we have typical IT guys. Then we have consulting guys. Then we have customer support. Because somebody, you take any platform, cloud or VR, you have to have product developers or who can get into product management, who can get into services, who can get into support. And based on that, of course, we as an industry, we will strategize. Okay, product top notch, go here. Support maybe here. That kind of thing. So you have to tell us what's your sweet spot, because you obviously cannot do all these things.
Correct.
Right?
So
and then accordingly,
it's a positioning test.
it's a positioning for you.
So the other aspect.
Could I? Very much the same way institutes they get segregated in say tiers, tier 1 institutes, tier 2 institutes. In the same way, on companies also they get segmented, tier 1 companies, tier 2 companies, based on their scale, based on their operations, based on the pay package they offer to students. And even within the same organization, as you said, based on the kind of work, for example, design might require a different skill set for which you definitely require the raw talent which is available in the IITs, but maybe it is just 10% of the job. The remaining 90% is something for which you cannot afford people from IITs. So for those skill sets, other institutions will have to pitch in.
So I want to just go back to what Padmini said. Did I hear you say that once an offer is made and the institute or the academic college, the college knows that, okay, my student is going to go work for this organization, probably for this kind of function, are you somewhere voicing that could not the colleges begin to offer courses to those students in the remaining 6 to 9 months?
That's right.
Which kind of help him get better at those job profiles.
Yes.
Some of the
Does
best
that happen?
practices which are emerging today is you start your curriculum ahead of deployment, right? So probably maybe in the second or third year, so you kind of inculcate your board of studies and try and customize your curriculum what you need in the campuses. I think that's one of the best practices which is emerging today.
But
So
do you, for example,
Go ahead.
would you know of examples where, let's say, the campus placement week, so to say, gets over, let's say, around August or September, and then the remaining 6 months, the college actually begins to slot those students saying, okay, you are most likely going to be requiring these kind of skills and take up these courses?
I think that it begins a little earlier than that, because if you, let's say, are talking to 5 or 6 large organizations, and you know that people coming in from here are going to be picking up students for this particular area of work, can you then tweak your academics in such a fashion that they become ready to get deployed almost immediately after they join? They don't have to necessarily spend the 90 days in training. So it's about actually starting about a year before placement really starts. And once the student is selected, you actually work with the student and give him classes which is beyond his academic time slots.
I think this discussion, despite 2 very valuable inputs being made, continues to revolve around the band-aid solutions. There was one point made by Prashant, I think it just flew by us. He said the institutes should identify their sweet spot, USP. You cannot cater to the 5 tiers of skill requirements in the market. And to what Shailesh said, we are talking about, can we start the industry-based curriculum about a year in advance? Skip that. He just placed a very beautiful point. He said, why can't we convert these institutes as incubators of technology of the future of solutions, because that is going to change your society. That is going to change the way you deliver. You know, why do we have so many entrepreneurs coming out from engineering institutes or MBA institutes in the US? Because the ecosystem is like that. So if you move that, you know, the stake right at the beginning and change your curriculum, change the infrastructure, change the ecosystem, and create it, you know, define it not as a college, say an incubator of technology. To your point, Ishan, you said people coming from various institutes probably provide different skills, or the way we look at it is that way. But trust me, if I can relate it slightly more basic, I live in a complex where there are 500 families. I play badminton. I could be a champion of that complex. Okay, and everybody in that complex salutes me as like the king of badminton. The moment I step out, and if there is a Sarjapur association where badminton is held, I'll be probably 20th ranked, because I have no clue about what the world compares itself with. And then I go to a world scale, and I don't even feature on that scale, right? So you would as well have somebody with a CQPI of 9.89 or whatever, but then the moment he steps into the global, cruel corporate world or an assessment criteria, he looks at himself as something like 3 or 4. But then I think our solution at the end of the discussion should revolve around what Shailesh presented and what Prashant tabled.
What I feel is, you know, we're looking at one which is a short-term solution and one which is long-term. Short-term would be what is it that an organization, when it's hiring from campus, is looking for. The shortest time to deployment, and how is it that we can crash that. The other is more long term, which you're saying is technology based. Can we actually look at future technology? So I would think that, you know, both have to be addressed. You cannot ignore the fact that today I'm hiring people, and you know, I need to deploy them as early as possible, because in a product world, technology is important. In the services world, how quickly do I deploy a person is important.
But then you can segregate that challenge. The short-term solution can be created by a little bit of a tweaking from the campus or the colleges, maybe in the next 6 to 8, 12 months, maybe 18 months it will take. But the long-term solution for this problem has to be initiated and owned by the industry. Right. Like if Alcatel-Lucent goes and crips and says, oh, we cannot get, like, you know, LTE engineers in the market, in the institutes, and we do that, by the way. Well, if you knew LTE was a technology that will come into the market in 3 years' time, if you had enough capabilities to vision that out, you could have engaged with 6 institutes about 4 years back, right? You could have created a set of talent which not only Alcatel-Lucent, Cisco could have used, Juniper could have used. You only require about 50 people, but you could have invested that amount of time.
So I think one divergent view is your demand is also not that long-term view, right? You don't get a long-term view.
Yeah, it's a dynamic demand.
Correct. So probably not. So nobody talked about cloud, and we're talking about cloud.
So one thing that probably we need to look here is that why are we having this discussion today? The industry used to recruit people from campuses some 10 years back too, right? Yeah. Did we have the same problem then? Most probably no. I was not in the industry then, so probably people who were in the industry would like to comment on that. So most likely we didn't have this problem then. Why do we have this problem today?
Rohit, 2 things. We probably didn't know that there was a problem, and money was easy then. Today money is not easy.
No, the other thing
the point that I was trying to make here is that unlike 10 years wherein the focus was probably to just get in people and make them productive, the focus today is in terms of how do I improve the quality of this person or the quality of the work that this person probably does. Because the customer demands have changed. Unlike the kind of services the customers used to expect earlier, some 10 years back or 15 years back, the customers expect a lot more from any IT product company or an IT services company. So you probably cannot just get one run-of-the-mill guy and make him productive at your organization in 3 months, 6 months time. And hence this whole problem. Hence organizations have started talking about, hey, the quality of students coming out of the colleges is not up to the mark. Right, but from an industry perspective, have we gone back? The industry is evolving, the expectations from the industry is evolving. Based on which the technologies that were used probably 10 years back have become obsolete. Has the industry gone back to the academia and stated, hey, these are my expectations? That's one. Second is, yes, there are a couple of companies that have gone back to the so-called tier 1 companies, the likes of an IITs, just because of the fact that their engagement with these industries has been there for quite a long time because of the alumni existence or because of the number of years for which the college has been in existence. Okay, all this is perception driven, or probably based on what has been my experience with this particular college, or what has been the experience of the college with this particular company. So that's a perception that we've created in mind. Now technologies have been evolving. Have we as industry gone back to somebody like Sharda Institute and told that, hey, this is what we expect from your students, and this probably would be the trend 2 years down the line, or this probably would be the trend 3 years down the line, because what they continue to do is churn out students on the basis of the technologies that existed 10 years back.
See, this is an easy problem. I tell you, you'll have to create some baselining. You'll have to create profiles. I'm going to cater to consulting services type profile, product development type of profile, customer support. Then you will have to create a baseline. In each baseline, you will have to, for example, if Rohit is hiring for Informatica, he's looking for database guys. If Padmini is hiring for consulting services, they should have at least the mindset to deal with customers. If you're hiring for a top-notch product, then you have to create, so you'll have to create those kind of things. You cannot have one course fitting all. You will make everyone unhappy. So you'll have to do that. Then you're sourcing, where you're getting the talent from.
Correct.
And all that,
So are you basically saying don't be jack of all trades?
No, you cannot.
Take
Because
some calls and put
the other thing
focus on those.
is, see, the challenge is if ideally we should come to you with some volume, right? Okay, I need batch of 30 students and I need these skills. And then it's easier for you, but it's very difficult for us. We cannot predict the business demand, right? So you'll have to cater to all of this. So I'm saying you'll have to create profiling and create a baseline, and depending on the flavor of the year or whatever, then you put that on top.
But Vishal, that's a little unfair on isn't that unfair on the college side? You're asking them to take the risk.
No, wait a minute. I'm asking them to create at least a baseline.
But for example, what I'm saying is,
To make that baseline, I think we need a partnership with.
yes.
Baseline, you don't need partnership. I'm sorry, you don't need partnership. You can do it on your own. But baseline is what? The person should, some development skills, some awareness of the technology. What is virtualization? You should know that. I mean, we don't have to teach you that, right?
No,
I think
Those kind of things. Then on top of that, we will probably help you in a particular kind of domain.
Exactly. This is
Right? So baseline
exactly
you have
what
to
you're
create.
saying is this is what needs to be done. Actually, you see, the requirements are so diverse. It's
Yeah.
not that the academics have not been trying this.
Yeah.
In fact, at Sharda and many other institutions, now we are focusing what we used to call management by objectives, but we are calling this as education by objectives or objective-based education, where we have 4 components. Previously, it used to be only knowledge, and very brilliant students only used to come to engineering branch. So teach them, they'll absorb it, they'll multiply it, they'll retrospect, they'll conceptualize, they'll put it to application, and 3 years down the line, they'll become very useful and high-performing students. Your demand has gone up, and the number of students now being taught is much larger. So the top 5% talent is going to IITs or NIITs. Out of 1 million, only about 25,000 is going there. Another 25,000, what you call is tier 2, maybe another 25, 30, 40,000. What happens to the rest? Can you run all your industries based on these 60,000 people only? Most of the foot soldiers' job, the operational jobs, have to be manned by people who are somewhere in between. The 2 lakh ranker or the 2.5 lakh or 3 lakh ranker, they have also to come and contribute some way, then it is inclusive. Now, how do they become productive? How they become acceptable to you? What do we do for them? So we have identified 4 components. One is knowledge. That means clarity of concepts plus all the related information. How to apply it in real life situation based on projects or whatever guidance is there, so that he can use that knowledge. Second is all the necessary generic supporting skills, hard skills as well as soft skills.
How many years of curriculum you have?
4 years.
So last year you cater to the industry.
Yeah.
Specify last year.
So what that's what
where he gets
a generic
specialized.
preparation on these parameters, then attitude, and then domain specific or job specific competency profile development. That also we are looking into. For R&D, the person will be different. Depending upon his ability, we have a number of courses, a number of training programs for students. After having done all this, still the requirements are so diverse that unless you recruit in advance, as Padmini said, and then you integrate backwards and say, okay, for 6 months, now that technology is available, we'll impart this course. You pick up people for some kind of role X. You have the knowledge. We may or may not having the training for that, or the trainers for that, or the faculty for that. Once you start through Skype or through video conferencing, or all the technological tools are available now, you interact with, let's say, 20 students, 30 students, 50 students, even those who have not been picked up by you. You have that focus area of 15. Let 25 more students participate, at least they will learn the technology. Somewhere else, some other recruiter will come who will need some 2, 3, 4 of them, and he will have the ready talent available. So that talent has to flow back from the corporate back to the campuses.
Just one question.
Right. So
do we have somebody on the panel who has worked very closely with an institution, with a college, to develop not a whole curriculum, but at least some streams of the curriculum? Yeah? Yeah. So what are the challenges that we have faced?
So I'll give you one example. We tied up with an institute in the central part of India, and they said their sweet spot was manufacturing. And the sweet spot was manufacturing, not like mechanical engineers, but they could actually give us students with manufacturing exposure. So we said we do a lot of work for customers in the manufacturing industry, so we would be quite keen to look at students from here. So we also asked them, what is it that you can do to make them ready to deploy? So they have actually tweaked some courses. They've tied up with a local training institute. We cleared the curriculum for that institute, and now post-selection, all the students who have got selected are getting trained on a certain technology area for us. So when they come and join us next year, they'll be so much more ready to get deployed. So the curriculum, the institute has identified 2 or 3 training partners. They shared the training material, and we cleared that training material for them.
So Padma, in return, is there either a stated or an unstated commitment to hire?
These are selected students, for selected students. People who've been selected in the 3rd year who would come and join us
So
next
you
year.
train them while they
It should
are.
be at 2 levels here. Firstly, somebody mentioned, I think you mentioned, Amit, that there are probably 1 million students who pass out every
The
year.
engineering, that's our estimate.
Whatever, the figure might be. At a first base level, how many of these are employable? I think that's the most basic level. Forget
That's the
about
basic.
technology. Leave technology out of it. Today, if you look at organizations when we visit campuses, what do we look at? We do not look to see if they have understood technologies of the future. We don't look to see if they have understood the technologies that are currently practiced or are needed in an organization. We try to understand whether they are employable, whether they're trainable, and whether they will be able to make a difference to the organization in the future. That's at the base level. If you ask me, not more than 30% of students passing out today are employable. I'm going to play the devil's advocate here and go out on a limb and make a statement like this. Secondly, if we're going to take the whole discussion to a next level and say, fine, let's go beyond the employment aspect of it. If we have to really train students on future technologies, it cannot be left only to colleges to do it. Because you look at the way our institutes are set up in India, they are unable to do it without complete support of the industry in doing it today. They will not be able to do it without the industry supporting them. The turnover of an average Indian university is not even 1% of the turnover of an American university. You need resources for this. You need knowledge. Where's the knowledge of future technologies available in colleges today? You need years and years of effort to build it. So unless, if we're looking at a quick fix situation of at least 3 years, 4 years, industry has to play a very key role. Industry cannot look at colleges as placement agencies. Today, the only relationship is, this is the time of the year I need my talent, okay? Handshake with the placement coordinator and you get your talent. And nobody even bothers about it. So it has to be long term. I don't believe you can do very much with quick fixes over the next 9 to 12 months. Those will be real quick fixes. It's at least, in my view, a 5-7 year horizon if you start today.
Okay.
Shailesh, that begs a question. That begs a question.
So,
Okay, yeah.
see, I think we all are, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I think all of us are trying to do what is this fast food kind of setup here. Thanks Shailesh, he just picked it up. I think we are forgetting the basic. I think basic means what is required. See, there are 3 key players: business, institutions, and the candidates or students. See, while we are busy in the business, we are forgetting the fundamentals. In reality, what's happening? Institution says 100% placement, join my college. That's what the key. So people just come and join. What is we are doing? Business doing. Business says, I have so much of business out there, I'll just tie with you. In 2 days, you completely wash away. Some large players, tier 1 comes, take thousands, or somebody else comes, takes 20s or whatever, 50s. So candidate, what he does, the student, individual student or parents, they just go by this logo, a fancy logo called so-and-so recruited me, come join this institution. While we are doing all this, we are missing what is needed here. The students are no sweat, they are getting the job. So to get that, what is he doing? Parents pays the fees and they get into college. Immediately after 4 years, you get into placement and done. So, but basically what he's supposed to learn, if I'm a computer science student, he will not even know data structure. So he will forget that. When it comes to campus recruitment, he gets through. That's where we get into problem. Can I turn out him 90 days? 90 days is not the replacement for 4 years. The 4 years should be proper first. So what institution should do, it's not a blame game I'm telling, I'm just saying institution should build real engineers. Today in business is talking about Java, .NET, whatever, cloud computing, everything. Tomorrow it will talk something else. But that can be picked up. Today I think we are slowly moving out. Business is moving out from engineering to BSc students or something like that. Tomorrow it will come to class 12 or class 10. What happens then? So that is the real problem. So engineering student should be really taught 4 years. He should think what will happen after 4 years. It's not the placement question. Am I trained? Am I perfect engineer? Can I do something? Even IT is not there. So I think that is where we should get in. So if we address that, I think most of our problem will be solved.
No, but
More than being
I
an
think
engineer.
First 3 years you have to do that. What he says.
This is what
you have to do that. I'm talking about only final year
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
they are employable. And you have a
Exactly.
very good point. Are they
In addition to
employable?
that, what also typically has started happening on campuses is that I'll share a couple of experiences. So you go and talk to a student, or while you are doing a pre-placement talk at a college, the kind of questions the students will have.
How much?
What is the kind of salary you guys will pay?
Yeah.
That's the first
Exactly.
question.
Yeah, that's the first question.
The second question is that so-and-so company came onto our campus the other day and they are offering a work from home facility.
Correct.
Are you guys going to be offering me the work from home facility? Okay, so since you are going to be offering me a work from home facility, I'm assuming that you are going to be giving me a laptop or a tablet with an internet connection at home, right? These are the kind of questions the students come up with at a stage wherein they don't even have a job.
Can I go on site? That's something.
Can I? Yes. The other thing, yes.
You're right.
So-
But Rohit, that's problem created by you and me.
Yes.
True,
How
but
much
to a
money
certain
do I
extent,
have?
to a certain
Have you
extent.
been to IIT this year?
Yes.
I paid 15 lakh for a
Correct.
BTech graduate.
Yes.
And
Which
still
I
we were
wanted
not
to
able
pay
to
a
recruit
senior
the
who's
best
been in my
guy.
company for 7 years.
Right.
Somebody passed out of the same college, IIT Kanpur, working with me for 7 years, don't earn that much. I paid a 7-year junior 15 lakh, 6.
True, we've done the same thing.
We are the
It's
ones
our
who
problem.
dangle those carrots in
Yes.
front of them to begin with.
We are the ones
See,
who
but
are
then
in
that's
that fight.
more to do with the social setup that we've created. So as Mr. Murthy was stating some time back, that your parents end
You'll
up
be
paying a
lucky if you
substantial
stay
amount
with
of
me for a
money.
year.
He'll not
Doesn't
stay
go
with me
to
for a year.
US.
He may not
Yeah.
even join me. He may
Your
not even
parents-
actually join me.
So can I?
Up offers off campus.
You're saying, okay, this is a problem. I see, we can all see that. Everybody knows that. How do you think, okay, this is a problem, this is what I'm looking at, you know,
That-
mentioned.
Let's
So
spectrum
one
needs
is-
to be
What's the
increased.
solution,
See, what
you
the
know?
first
so-
thing that comes to my mind is that the way in which the academia or the industry is being run will have to be changed. It's a big statement. So most of the colleges that are being run today, so Sailesh, I guess, made a statement, said that, hey, the first thing that they do from a branding perspective is highlight the percentage of placement. So I've had a record of 100% placements for the last 5 years, so come and join my college. And probably if you don't get through the front door, I have a way in which I can get you through. I can get you through into my college through the back door too, right? So that kind of mentality will have to change. So I have a question to the people from the academia here. So what is the objective behind they running this institute? The first
It's a
question.
business, so let's face it,
Right.
we
So
are in
if
business.
we are saying that hey,
Let's
it's going to be
let's
business.
not beat around the bush.
Correct. So if
we are
it's
not
going to
here
be
for
business,
social cause here. They are
correct. So
running
if it's
the
going to be
business.
business,
We are running.
okay, are we prepared as a business house? Are we prepared as a business house to cut on our earnings? Okay, because all this jargon and stuff that we are referring to out here in this discussion will involve sacrifice from both the ends, the industry as well as the academia. The industry, the problems that I have from an industry perspective, I go to a hiring manager saying that, hey, I want to engage with this particular college on so and so activities. The first response that I get is that, boss, do I develop my products or do I spend time on this? This is the reality of life. I go to a college and say that, hey,